Okay, so guys, we are going to talk about Vaishu's art book. So the first basic fundamentals of an art is about defining the art structure. So you got the bibliography and you got some bullet. Okay. The next important thing is actually to define the color palettes that will be used in the drawing book. So there are different types of color palettes that Vaishnavi has used in her drawing book. I would say it's not a drawing book. It's like a kind of a pattern designer or a benchmark for designing any aspects, right? So whatever that you saw is just the um, basics, and you could also find that there are some scribbling notes over here, but let's get started with the beauty over here. The first thing first, when you actually work on a specific design, you go to make sure that all these design components interact with each other, and it's like kind of very well mapped and the layers are perfectly aligned, right? It's one of the example for yellowish designs. So the next one, we could see a gradient over here. These gradients will attract the eyes better than simple text, and the text that goes within the gradient usually has the most important value for the message. So that's pretty well conveyed. Okay, so we got some simple scribbling notes over here. Okay, I think her hand, lips, everything has gone over here. Okay, this is the wow part of it. I love pink. So does my daughter. So here we got the princess fairy tale. So the color pattern is perfectly matching with pink, right? So now let's go to these are wave patterns. Again, if you independently look at these wave patterns, it can be used for a lot of design assets, right? So a simple traditional outlier, yeah, and you got those beautiful newspaper scribblings, right? So this is like kind of creative as well, like it brings the antique part of it and a modern design to the same aspect. I think if it's also kind of mixed with some gradients, it'll look better. So wow, this is like kind of the benchmark that we need to keep for the gradients. So if let's say for example a website or a brochure or any digital content follows the same uniform gradient across, it looks beautiful, it looks interesting, right? So again, these are like kind of mix and match between the different types of palettes we discussed earlier. So how we can mix and match with different blocks. So we have already started with these basic fundamentals. So you got to benchmark and define what your process is, right? So that's the most important thing. So you got a clarity around what exactly you need to design and prepare. So let's look at the bluish part now. Wow. So it's like kind of a simple monopoly tone with different unstructured layers, but it looks good. So people search for these missing pieces, where exactly it went, and you got an important CTA, let's say for example, join the free demo class. Okay. Very good. So that's the best part about broken structures, and at the end of the day you need to solve the puzzle at the same design. Wow, this is again a good brand representation of how exactly pink goes together. So it all depends on how do you collect the pink flavor with what type of logo you want to keep, and how do you kind of bring different properties inside the same picture, right? So again, one more pinkish representing the fire and representing the marvelous emotions of a person, right? So let's say for example, you could use DALL-E to create beautiful images and kind of prepare a message for nice contents, right? So this is again bluish with that natural sense of flowers and honeybee. You could see one thing which is in common with all the Vaishu notes is that you got always the nature with kind of some or the other way we get connected to nature. That's the most important thing. People usually love when it is colorful and it's natural. So reddish, no colors are actually good or bad. It depends on how do you prepare those elements and properties, right? So how do you combine them? How do you kind of sync them all together? Depends on your creativity, I would say. It's not about the colors that makes the difference. It's about the components, and the natural front that you've given over here makes a lot of difference. Wow, this is my favorite. Of course, this is the logo for RRF as well. Amazing stuff done over here with natural neem leaf and pretty well done. I would rather, this is like more, I would say this is the first thing that's an image in this whole book. Or it's like a kind of a complete copy paste, but it's looking really cool when you look at it. The natural representation. I think the neem part of it, which I love the most. I think you should take some trees from our own RRF issue. Okay. Now the next thing is the orange, right? So orange kind of she's busy in kind of preparing notes for her boring grammar exercise, which is like kind of part and piece in life, right? So let's go to the next part, which is kind of very important, because orange over here, it also makes a lot of love to your eyes when you see that. So you could feel that there is a peel off and you could feel that crush, right? So one important thing is that image usually perceives our brain, and it makes us to feel that moment, right? So I could feel like drinking an orange juice, but still I got a lemon out here. Okay, very good. Let's move on to the next stuff. Okay. Halloween, oh my god, it looks like a piece of maybe a draft work, and blackish white. Okay, so that's the gen part of it, right? So you could see black also kind of brings a lot of creativity and a lot of instant pitch. Like, let's say, for example, you want to convey the most important message in your life, you usually put it in a piece of black and white environment, right? So I've seen sometimes, people love to go back to their, 60s and 70s and look at the old infographics. And we do have very naive people at that age who would love to see something around black and white. Okay, you got that nice Costa Coffee break now, talking about how you could bean a coffee, make a perfect coffee. And oh my god, I never thought that tobacco is allowed in the coffee shop, but it's a good job. Thank you for considering that. Old is gold. Wow, that's amazing. And now you got some little nice bees out here. Okay, so now this is our Kawi land, pinkish. So this is the more darker version of the pink. Is there a darker version of a pink? Yeah, I believe so. Wow. So again, I see that beautiful blend of color use and how exactly the words go inside that, right? So kind of, representing the same rainbow with different patterns makes you to cognitively think about the other dimensions, right? Like maybe, for example, flying in the sky with the unicorn out there, which is a good creative idea. I feel really heaven over here, but that's it. That's the end of the story. Thank you so much, and we'll keep you updated when we complete this book. If you like it, you could ask any questions related to any of the aspects that we discussed over here, and we should be happy to help you. Take care.